Welcome on the cosmic atom, the chosen one. This word comes to you not by chance, but by divine purpose, since you just passed a significant threshold. The last exam was passed. What you experienced was more than simply a battle. It was a spirit, a thorough examination designed to expose the power that was always concealed inside you. And now the timing of this communication proves it. You're not the same person you were before. You did not stumble across this confirmation. You were directed here. The universe, your predecessors, as well as the invisible powers who accompany you, all worked together to ensure that you survived. The illusions faded gone. The strain did not break you. It awoke you. You've earned the new season with endurance, faith, and bravery. When no one could see the weight you were carrying. And now the door has opened. A higher route awaits. You aren't merely here to be encouraged. You're here to be reminded of your strength, purpose, and a larger mission that awaits you after the test. This is the time to ascend, chosen not just for celebration, but also for vision, action, and alignment. Your journey did not finish with the final test. It was the heavenly signal for a fresh beginning. You just conquered a covert obstacle that most people would have failed under. Yet you had no idea you were being tried. You passed the spiritual assessment quietly and without fanfare. And suddenly the ground moves under you, as if it's about to unleash a flood of blessings so great that it may transform everything. That gift is waiting for your signal and ready. Before we dig in, take a time to like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't yet, this is a message intended for all selected ones to hear. If the core of this message speaks to your spirit, drop the number 77 in the comments. This isn't just a number. It is a holy sign to the cosmos, indicating that you are in alignment with your divine destiny and ready to enter into the grandeur that awaits. Only the genuinely selected ones will remain till the end. And to those who do, deeper insights will emerge. Your spiritual awareness will grow, and the gifts contained inside this message will become crystal clear. Remember that knowledge presents itself in layers. Revisit this message as frequently as necessary to connect your mind, body, and spirit with the realities being conveyed. Each time you come, you will discover something even more powerful, something heavenly that may have been buried before. Chapter 1. The Silent Tribunal of Your Soul. Remember those times when you were plagued with uncertainty. Those late evenings when you couldn't sleep because your thoughts kept racing. You assumed you were simply going through a hard time. But, in truth, something deeper was going on. You were being tried, not in a huge, visible fashion, but in little repetitive trials. Tiny choices, swift reflexes, and internal struggles that no one else could see. They were all part of something larger. You may have thought they were trivial decisions, but they were truly significant turning moments. This was your soul's silent courtroom, a peaceful, spiritual court questioning whether you would stand in the truth. Will you make a sacrifice merely to feel comfortable? Will you persevere even when no one is watching? Family, colleagues, friends, and even strangers all played roles. Not usually on intention, but their words, attitudes, and judgments. They became part of your spiritual test. Some pushed you into emotional corners. Others caused uncertainty or fueled your self-doubt. But it was all meant to disclose something. Would you lose yourself or stay true to your values? And you did. You held your ground. Perhaps you didn't recognize it at the time. However, by choosing honesty, patience, and truth, even when it was difficult, you passed each level of the exam. It undoubtedly seemed unjust. You may have wondered why nothing ever came easily. Why were your plans continually delayed? And why did you have to work so hard to keep your peace? But what you went through was not punishment. It was a preparation. It was the universe's way of determining if you were strong enough to undertake a far larger responsibility. Those covert fights shaped you in ways that comfort never could without acknowledgement or appreciation. As you develop spiritual endurance, the illusions you formerly had about who you are, what matters, and what you're capable of begin to go away. You were able to see people more clearly. You were able to see yourself more clearly. Those who attempted to discourage you, let us call them skeptics, may have dubbed you foolish or unrealistic, but you grew to identify their fear disguised as knowledge. Their judgment sprang from their own limits, not your reality. Something within you gradually changed. You stopped shrinking. You've stopped apologizing. You stopped allowing fear to speak louder than faith. That's when things began to shift. The actual conflict had always been in your thoughts. And once you had power over it, the outside world started to react. Small blessings appeared, peace restored, and momentum began to build in your favor. And then, very unexpectedly, you passed a heavenly threshold. God, the cosmos, your higher power, or whatever you call it, took note. You had met the spiritual prerequisites of a test you weren't even aware you were taking. However, don't anticipate loud applause or spectacular indicators if you pass a spiritual exam. The reward is frequently subtle, such as inner calm, a knowing in your soul, or the removal of a weight you were unaware you were carrying. Then doors start to open. People who previously overlooked your light are now attracted to it. Opportunities that you used to hope for just appear. Those who disbelieve you watch in silent wonder as you climb. You demonstrated yourself, not to them, but to a greater truth. Your soul has been checked and deemed ready, and your life is about to explode with favor, alignment, and wealth. The quiet tribunal has spoken, and its decision is obvious. You are selected, you are ready, and your climb is inevitable. Chapter 2: Unmasking the Illusionary Obstacle. Here is the frightening reality. The most difficult issue you've ever encountered was not anything outside of yourself. It was not about a person, a career, a loss, or treachery. The true impediment, the one with the greatest strength, was your own thoughts. Yes. Have someone harmed you? Yes. Life has its own plan for you despite the unjust circumstances. However, those external events were only significant because they generated an interior response, something you had not yet healed. A betrayal seemed like confirmation of your worst fear, that you were unworthy. A squandered chance wounded because you felt you were doomed to fail. These inner beliefs are what gave your issues strength and created skeptics. They often replicated these views without realizing it. They repeated the falsehoods you had already told yourself. You are not enough. You will not make it. Be practical. But their purpose was not to ruin you. It was meant to mirror the delusions you needed to confront. The actual trip was not about proving the critics incorrect. It was about addressing the aspects of yourself that agreed with them. This is when spiritual awakening really starts. You stop seeking for someone to blame and instead look yourself for the truth. Do you see how previous events, childhood scars, heartbreaks, and society programming instilled incorrect notions in your mind? Perhaps you were advised not to trust your intuition. Perhaps you were taught that abundance was just for a chosen few. Perhaps love was always just out of grasp. These fantasies eventually become your reality, not because they were correct, but because you believed in them. But here's the beauty. Illusions are frail. When you challenge them, they start to break apart. However, breaking away is not always simple. Some of those around you, the same naysayers, may attempt to hold you back not because they dislike you, but because your progress makes them uncomfortable. People who live under illusions feel frightened when someone breaks out. They'll attempt to deter you with reasoning, guilt, or terror. But it is their own discomfort, not your truth. Nonetheless, you persevered. You pushed ahead. You stripped away the layers of incorrect ideas. You questioned your ideas. You altered your habits. and you gradually realize that those supposedly insurmountable difficulties were never genuine in the first place. They were delusions, fear-driven fables with no true substance. When you rejected your own story of unworthiness, the illusion fell away. Suddenly, what seemed like heavy shackles vanished, leaving just smoke. The way ahead of you cleared, and you bravely walked into it. Even the naysayers had to take a step back. They saw your progress, even if they didn't comprehend it. Your development became evident, not by chance, but because you battled the greatest opponent of all, your own limits. And now that the illusion has been destroyed, the area it previously filled is open. And what's pouring in to fill that void? Blessings, truth, and expansion. You're no longer constrained by erroneous ideas. The scope of your possibilities has expanded like never before. The ceiling is gone. The cage is gone. All that remains is the wide sky and your bravery to soar into it. Chapter 3. The universe's secret plot to elevate you. Some individuals believe that life is merely a random series of occurrences, accidents, and coincidences with no true significance. But you've always had a sense that something greater was going on. You have a sensation that behind every struggle, detour, and delay, there is a secret power leading you to your awakening. You are not just floating through life. You are being prepped, honed, and guided toward a bigger purpose. There were times when you felt like you were barely keeping it together, completely oblivious that you were in the midst of a heavenly trial. These were not just coincidences. They were spiritual setups. Each disappointment, delay, or closed door was part of a larger, invisible plan intended to build your spirit and enlarge your ability to those on the outside looking in. It may have seemed as a sequence of fortuitous breaks or unexpected twists, but you know better. You can see the heavenly fingerprints on everything now. What seemed to be rejection was in fact a redirection. What seemed to be anarchy was really a meticulous process. Choreography. The cosmos has always made significant investments in souls that carry light. Souls like yours. Most individuals remain locked in their delusions, reluctant to challenge and evolve. But you had the fortitude to push through the murk. You were being sculpted under pressure, much like a diamond. Every heartache, every setback, every time you decided to rise rather than become bitter demonstrated that your vessel was capable of holding more light, love, and truth. Now that the curtain is lifted, it is clear how everything has always worked together. But here's a twist. The universe seldom allows you to glimpse the whole plan in advance. It seeks your trust, step by step, moment by moment. If you had understood what you were getting yourself into from the start, you could have attempted to push the result or bypass the process while remaining unconscious that your progress was genuine. Your judgments, taken blindly but courageously, were pure. Others may have believed you were lost or bewildered, but your spirit was sensing the indications all along. Synchronicities, nudges, nightmares, and a peaceful realization that you have followed a path of spiritual breadcrumbs. And now that you've come, everything suddenly makes sense. But it's not just about you. Your healing, clarity, and growth. It influences the whole energy environment surrounding you. You've unintentionally become a source of light in an illusion-filled world. You motivate people to become aware of your presence. Changes rooms. Your trip demonstrates what is possible when you trust the invisible. With your old illusions broken and your soul expanded broader than ever, you're standing on the verge of something spectacular. You are now ready not just to accept benefits, but also to embody the mission your soul decided before your birth. What seemed to be random is now revealed as divine design. You passed the exam, and the prize is more than simply success. It aligns with your spiritual path. Chapter 4. When the benefits begin to flood, they come gradually, almost gently. A neglected obligation is unexpectedly repaid. An opportunity arises that perfectly aligns with your passions. You may even wonder whether they're genuine or just fleeting instances of good fortune. But they're simply the beginnings of something far bigger. Before you realize it, these benefits gain momentum. They arrive quicker, fuller, and louder. A spontaneous work opportunity provides a spiritually connected connection, creative ideas that flow effortlessly, financial breakthroughs, and emotional calm. Even people who previously questioned your path can't help but notice that something exceptional is happening in your life. But whether they call it luck or timing, you know the reality. This abundance was hard-earned. It sprang from your determination to improve, your choice to confront suffering without becoming hardened. This overflow reflects your inner efforts. However, after years of striving or being little, getting so much light may be overpowering. You may even feel guilty or scared, wondering whether all would go. However, this is part of your evolution. You're learning to accept without fear. These benefits are not restricted to money or rank. They manifest as unwavering tranquility, clarity about your mission and relationships that nurture your spirit. You feel more grounded, aware, and strong in your own authenticity. It's as if the universe was waiting for you to develop the strength to handle the beauty that is now filling your life. However, remember that plenty comes with responsibility. Just like adversity, test your strength. Blessings, try your humility. As life grows, so does the urge to stray, to forget the practices that led you here. You may realize that others are treating you differently. Some people want to gain off your radiance without giving you anything in return. This is when you must remain rooted. Keep your heart rooted in thankfulness. Recognize that, yes, you performed the job, but you were also aided by forces outside yourself. You did not travel this journey alone. That awareness is what keeps your benefits flowing rather than being stuck. Use what you've got for a greater good. Allow your surplus to serve as a bridge for others who are still lacking in sharing, knowledge, support, or compassion. Not out of duty, but out of overflow. This is how you maintain your alignment with the divine rhythm of giving and receiving. Keep your spiritual armor on. Even with plenty, illusions do not necessarily provide a challenge. They might arrive disguised as praise, pride, or ease. Keep an eye out. Keep checking in with your spirit. Allow each victory to strengthen your dedication rather than inflating your ego. You've reached the threshold. You passed the exam you didn't even know you were taking. And now, the cosmos is answering, not merely with gifts, but with an encouragement to live in complete alignment. This is your reward, duty, and calling. Chapter 5. Staying grounded as your world expands. Now that your life is flourishing with plenty, new problems emerge, but not in the manner you may think. You may have expected success to offer pure delight, and although it does, it also necessitates a new level of balance. Doors are opening. People are attracted to your glow. New possibilities seem to emerge practically every day. But with this growth comes a greater need for humility. This humility is not about diminishing yourself or dismissing your accomplishments. It's about remaining connected to the truth. Your accomplishment was never yours alone. Yes, you worked hard. Yes, you persevered. However, heavenly powers that arrange events in your favor also played a significant influence. Without their involvement at critical stages, the narrative may have turned out quite differently. Allow this knowledge to keep your heart open and spirit clear. As more people perceive your brightness, some may want to align themselves with your rising. Not everyone who is interested in your achievement will have the best intentions. Some may want to surf your wave without bringing value to your trip. Stay nice, but be smart. Determine who is actually destined to walk beside you and who is just passing through. Boundaries are an expression of self-respect, not cruelty. Protect your peace. Use divine energy to honor the location you have created. Humility also protects against a harmful delusion, the notion that you may now glide through life without exertion, that you have reached a point where nothing can touch you. But the fact is that spiritual progress never ends. Each level introduces fresh lessons, illusions, and diversions. Staying humble allows you to remain teachable. You continue to listen to your inner voice. You remain focused on the source that first raised you. And by doing so, you stay in sync with the energy that brought these benefits into your life. Your path may inspire others, but only if it is real. Make your life a living example, not a show. Allow your progress to whisper truth rather than trumpet success. Authenticity requires no praise. It just is. Finally, understand this. True blessings aren't one-time gifts. They are involved in a real, breathing connection with the divine. Maintain your commitment to service as long as you respect the process. Remember where your strength originates from. Your life will continue to flourish in amazing ways. The world may attempt to forecast your rise or collapse, but your alignment is beyond predictability. You're not just pursuing success. You exude heavenly flow. And in that place, nothing is impossible. Begin bringing your vision into focus. Write it down. Speak it loudly to make it real. Don't allow anyone's doubts influence you off your course. This is not a hollow aspiration. It is the growth of your spirit, the next logical stage in the tale, which started with breaking free from the delusions that kept you stuck. You are no longer constrained by outdated storylines, and you may now create a future that matches your full potential. As you go on, believe that the universe will continue to lead you. It won't be long before more mentors and friends come, sharing insight to help you expand your vision even further. These relationships will seem like a great fit for the energy you bring into the world. It's critical to remain grounded and modest during this process. There is a narrow line between ambition and arrogance, and maintaining a mix of humility and confidence will ensure that your vision remains real. Remember that your achievement is not only about you. The higher you ascend, the more you encourage others to see above their own constraints. Your path becomes a light of hope for others who are still trapped in the delusion of what they can and cannot do. Share your experience with grace, and others will have the confidence to confront their own illusions. Your narrative is not just your own. It's part of the larger story that's unfolding for everyone. As you focus on the future, maintain your focus on the larger picture. The success you've had thus far isn't merely for personal benefit. It's about connecting to the universal flow of riches and purpose. This alignment is not a one-time feat. It is a constant journey. Keep dreaming big. Continue pushing for more. And remember that the universe will assist you realize your destiny in ways you never imagined imaginable. Chapter 7. Reflecting on triumph and moving forward. Now that you've completed the first portion of your adventure, it's time to stop and reflect on what has transpired. From this higher vantage point, you can observe not only the distance traveled, but also the many levels of metamorphosis that transpired along the route. There were times when you questioned your worth, wondering whether you had what it takes to keep going. You suffered quiet failures and periods of solitude, yet you didn't give up. And now, standing in this point of triumph, you can see the truth. The version of yourself that previously questioned your value no longer exists. This one was not about outperforming others or proving them incorrect. It was about going beyond your own limits. You are not here to compete. You came here to develop. You've moved beyond the doubts, anxieties, and illusions that formerly attempted to create your reality. You pass through the fire and emerge polished, not destroyed. And now, in the profound silence that follows your breakthrough, you may sense a change in your spirit. You're not the same person you were before. Fear has given way to bravery. Confusion had clouded your thoughts. There is now clarity. And where self-doubt formerly existed, there is now a firm and unshakable reality. I am enough. I've always been. I shall always be. You have passed the exam. The final test was never publicized, but was always present. And with it, a new power emerges inside you. However, this ability is not intended only for your own advantage. It is for people's life. You are supposed to impact the healing you are destined to provide, as well as the ripple effect your light will have throughout generations. Even now, with your win guaranteed, you know better than to be complacent. True warriors do not hang up their armor after a single fight. They refine their vision, remain vigilant, and plan for what comes next. The illusions may resurface in various disguises, but you are no longer readily deceived. You notice the methods that shine through the distractions. As a result, you continue to maintain your tranquility and safeguard your mission. While some observers may attempt to dismiss your progress, attributing it to chance or coincidence, their views can no longer pierce your barrier. You've constructed this foundation on endurance, profound spiritual understanding, and divine timing. Your path was not random. It was orchestrated. And now, as the fruits of your effort bloom, you know the cosmos isn't simply testing you. It rewards your alignment. Opportunities now come easily, not because life became easier, but because you completed the inner job. You're no longer pushing doors open. They are unlocking because you are on the appropriate frequency as your journey develops. You will encounter new mentors, soul friends, and heavenly missions. The mission continues. The landscape may change, but your resilience endures. You've already shown that you can withstand storm. What lies ahead is not just survival, but holy growth. You will continue to climb, not under pressure, but with purpose. Looking back, you may wonder how everything changed, how you broke free from the bonds of fear, uncertainty, and restriction. But such is the complexity of this holy road. Transformation is seldom comprehended at the time it displays its significance. As you walk it, each chapter builds on the previous one. And what seemed to be a breakdown was really a magnificent setup. Every adversity prepared you, and every delay perfected you. Every rejection pushed you towards something better. Now, with your confidence and vision restored, you enter the following phase unshaken, unstoppable, and completely conscious of your divine nature. You are no longer seeking a purpose. You embody it. And although the adventure is far from finished, you now have everything you need with you. Keep moving ahead. The chosen one. Your tale has only just begun. And the universe has much more in store for you than your history could ever hold. Stay loyal, attentive, and, most importantly, aligned with the road ahead, which is replete with revelation. You were born for this moment. Dear viewers, your support through Super Chat and membership is the only source of income that keeps this channel running. If you want me to continue uploading valuable content without delays and to stay motivated in providing you with the best wisdom, I need your help. Every contribution, big or small, makes a huge difference. Feel free to donate and support Pure Wisdom so we can keep growing together. Your generosity keeps this journey alive. Thank you for being part of this amazing community. If you're enjoying the content on Pure Wisdom and find value in the messages we share, I encourage you to subscribe. Based on the latest analytics, 93.9% of viewers are watching without subscribing. By subscribing, You not only stay updated with new content, but also support the channel's growth, allowing us to continue spreading wisdom for the chosen ones. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an important message. Let's build this community together.